Okay, so power seat motor malfunctions. First thing we're going to want to do is go to our fuse panel and check the connections there. Most GM vehicles of the 1980s did not have a fuse per se. What there is a power lead connected directly into the battery source on the fuse panel block. I'll take a look here and I'll show you. What you're going to want to do when you locate your fuse block, you want to locate an orange and black wire. Usually has a red plug at the end of it. It is connected into a source on the fuse block labeled battery, meaning this has constant power to it all the time, even when the ignition is in the off position. What you're going to want to do is locate this wire and make sure that it is plugged in. Now, if for whatever reason you still can't seem to get power to your seat, there could be two things. There could be a bad switch or a bad power seat motor. There is an also potential possibility that there is bad wiring either underneath the seat or behind your armrest where your power seat switch is located. Possibility of that happening is pretty slim. Usually it is either one of two things, either a bad switch or a bad power seat motor. Forward, seat goes back. Seat goes forward, seat goes back. Seat goes forward, ooh, up, down. Don't mind me, I'm just having a moment. So the YouTube subscriber that sent me the email isn't really having any issue with the power seat motor itself. The power seat motor actually is humming, but the seat does not want to move ahead or back. What you have here is your motor. There is a plastic, looking like a drive shaft sort of thing that has a gear on the end of it. If the vehicle is in constant use by different drivers on a daily basis, that seat is constantly going back and forth, up and down, every day. Now, some vehicles only have one driver, so the seat really doesn't ever get touched all that often. But there are some vehicles that are constantly with different drivers on a daily basis where the seat is constantly going back and forth. What this is doing is that little gear is eventually wearing itself down. The power seat motor, however, usually outlives the drive gear. I have seen this happen. If that be the case, it may be necessary just to go ahead and replace the power seat motor as a whole complete unit. You used to be able to buy parts separately. You used to be able to get a new drive gear. I'm not sure if it works like that anymore. The last time I changed the power seat motor and the components was about 6-7 years ago. Things change. The last time I heard that if the drive gear does wear down, it is necessary to replace the whole motor as an assembly. It comes in as an assembly now. I'm not totally 100% sure on that. You might want to check into it. But if the drive motor itself wears itself down, it's typical for that to happen. But here's something you can try to see if it'll jar itself so that maybe the seat can go back or forth, to see if you can at least set it to where you want it. Okay, so while you're out of the vehicle, what you're going to want to do is grab the front of the seat and the backrest just below here. Don't grab the headrest itself, but grab here. Give the seat a little bit of a jag like this and see if it'll slip back on the track and see if the drive gear will actually catch. Then go ahead and try and push up to put your power seat motor in gear and see if it'll actually move the seat back or forth or whichever, right? So just give it a little bit of a jag like that to see if the drive gear will actually engage itself and see if you can actually get the seat to move ahead or backward and see if you can get it back on the track again. Now, I've tried this before and I actually was successful. I'm not saying by pulling this attempt with the seat that it is going to work for you. I'm not saying that it is. I tried it once and it actually did work. It was enough to get the drive gear to engage itself, and then I could at least get the seat to go back. My problem was the seat was so far ahead, the drive gear was rounded off, or at least one of the gears were rounded off, and it just sat there and spun. So I gave the seat a little bit of a jag, and it actually was enough to get the gear to go back into place so I could at least get the seat back. I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but if it does work, well then at least you know that you can get your seat to where you want it. Now if it doesn't work for you, what you're going to have to potentially do is unbolt the seat and replace it. Like I say, I'm not sure about the components. You might be able to just buy the parts you need, or you might have to replace the unit as an assembly. I'm not sure. You're going to have to do your homework on that. Usually, I buy a vehicle, all I have to do is roll the seat all the way back and I never ever have to touch it again. Usually, a vehicle I get into, I'm the only driver. So I really don't change power seat motors on a day-to-day basis, nor do I even do it at the local shop. It just, usually it's something that doesn't really go. But it has happened. You know, sometimes you will get a family that has, you know, teenagers and, you know, mom and dad constantly going like this all the time. Back and forth, up and down. And then they sell the car, then all of a sudden you have a vehicle here that the power seat doesn't work, the motor works. Well, if that's the case, the power seat motor hums, there's a good chance that the drive gear is worn out. You're going to have to unbolt the seat, take the seat out, flip it upside down, and replace the parts as usual. So, that's that. I hope that shed a little bit of light on the issue. Can't really much help you because all my power seats work. Anyway, we'll see you later.